use loops in your Python code. So now let's dive in to how we can actually use this over lists, which is a data type we saw earlier in this course. We're going to break this down in 3 steps. We're going to talk about how to use loops, looping through a list with a while loop, and looping through a list with a for loop. Let's take a look. Let us first create a list. To loop through this list with a for loop is very easy. We've actually shown this a little bit in the last video. Recall that my list is now a variable, and the type of my list, if you can guess, is list. This list contains 3 elements, and these 3 elements are integers. Because my list is a variable, this is the same as saying for x in 1. We can say the same thing by doing x in my list print x. The practical use case of this is you often assemble lists in Python, and you often want to loop through the items of the list to do something with it. And this is how you use the for loop to loop through a list. Using a while loop is a bit less straightforward. Recall that in a list we can use square brackets to control indexing. So we can index and access a specific index doing square brackets and the index position, starting with 0. So 0 is the first element, 1 is the second element, so on and so forth. What we can now do is we also know that list is a list length of 3. So if we can say current index starts at 0, and then we can say while current index is smaller than 2, we first print out my list, current index, and then we increment current index by 1. So what we have done is we have printed out the list using the indexing function, and we've then increased the index by 1. But notice that because current index is increased to 2 and is smaller than 2, then it no longer prints the last element. What we need to do is actually reset current index to 0 and then change this to while current index is smaller or equal to 2, we want to print the list. And we have used a while loop to loop through our list of 3 items, and we have printed out each item using the indexing function of Python. And that's all there is to it, nice and simple. I've showed you 2 use cases of using loops. In Python, the predominant use case of loops is to iterate through a list of items and do something with each of the elements. I've showed you how we can loop through a list with a while loop, and also looping through a list with a for loop.